21 meeting of the RTC Board of Commissioners. MJ?
Thank you. Your first item, and good morning, is to conduct your first citizens participation period.
Thank you, MJ. This is the first time set aside for public comment. This time is limited to comments on items included on the agenda. Those wishing to speak on a posted agenda item, now is your opportunity. Please come forward to the microphone to provide your comments and state your name for the record. Do we have any comments from the public? Please come forward. And if there's several, you could just line up. Thank you.
For the record, my name is Marcia Blake. I'm the Executive Director of Helping Hands of Vegas Valley. I just wanted to come today and thank you for the support of our transportation program for senior citizens. We're able to provide transportation to them to get to their medical appointments, the grocery store, and other personal errands due to the generous funding of this commission. So we wanted to come today and say thank you for that approval of that funding.
Thank you, Marcia.
I'm Jane Camburn. I am the supervisor of Helping Hands of Henderson at Dignity Health, St. Rose Dominican Hospitals. And it's wonderful to see everybody in person. Such a different feeling. And we also would like your support with providing us additional funding for the next year to also support those senior citizens living in Henderson to get to their medical appointments, food pantries, grocery stores, and senior recreation centers for socialization, which they've been lacking so much during this pandemic. And thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And my name is Lisa Popowski from Jewish Family Services. I'm the Director of Senior Services, and I'd also like to thank you for your funding for seniors. But I'd also like to thank the staff of the RTC. They've just been really wonderful through the pandemic, allowing us to have flexibility to get our seniors where they need to be and to be open-minded to creative solutions. We use buses, we use taxis, we use Lyft, so the different modes to get seniors where they need to be and stay safe. So I appreciate it. Many vaccines, we provide transportation for vaccines, thanks to the RTC and your funding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and move on to the next item.
Thank you, Chairman. The next item is to approve your agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Commission. The next item is your CEO report. And this month, we are happy to report that we are going to recognize a mechanic. I'm going to turn it over to Francis Julian.
Thank you, MJ. So we're really happy to celebrate John Leo Salvador, and we have a small video.
Thank you, MJ. Today we're here to celebrate John Salvador. John actually prefers going by the nickname Leo. Leo actually came in during his days off to install the ion cleaners that we just finished installing in the bus. Leo, by himself, installed 80% of all the ion cleaners here at MV in the buses. So let's go and celebrate him to keep our community and our passengers safe. Hi, Leo.
Hi.
Hey, Leo. My name's Francis Julian. I'm the Deputy CEO for the RTC. I'm here to give you the Crystal Bus. You know why?
Why?
Because of all the ions cleaner that you install, all the purifying system you install for COVID. We know you've installed at least 80% of them, and just wanted to really thank you on behalf of the board from the RTC and all of us at the RTC. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you, Leo.
A 60-foot coach like this one, we've got 2 units. We've got a unit up in the upper side HVAC ducting.
Just over there?
Up there. It gets filtered to the physical filter and the ion filter. And cleaner air comes out.
Good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, because this actually kills all viruses and germs, get rid of bad odors inside the coach. So,
Right.
Once again, thank you so much for
Thank
what
you
did.
guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to MV and RTC and the whole team. Without my bosses, my supervisors, and everybody on the floor, we couldn't have made it happen. Thank you.
And Leo is with us today.
Oh, Leo.
Leo. Would he like to say a few words? If you want to come forward.
Like I said in the video, I just want to thank everybody. The ion emitters help bring our community back, back to normal. And see, like now, everybody's maskless and healthy in our coaches, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Chairman, that concludes your CEO report.
Thank you.
Your next item is to receive the Nevada Department of Transportation's Director Report, and this month it is Cole Mortensen, Deputy Director.
Cole, thank you.
Good morning. For the record, Cole Mortensen, Deputy Director for the Nevada Department of Transportation. As always, safety is our #1 priority, so we like to start off with a safety report. With the state open and summer upon us, we expect to see many more people on the roads. Memorial Day to Labor Day weekend is what the Office of Traffic Safety is calling the 100 deadliest days on Nevada roadways. The data we're seeing so far this year shows an increase in fatalities over 2020, and with an increase prior to that, we're seeing an increase on top of an increase right now. Statewide, we're seeing a 30% increase in traffic fatalities since May of 2020, and here in Clark County, an increase of 32%. Also here in Southern Nevada, motorcyclist fatalities are up 70%, and bicyclist fatalities have jumped 300% from the same time last year. Since June 1st and over Memorial Day weekend, numerous lives were ended, reminding us of the urgent need to eliminate these preventable deaths. This month, yet again, the primary causes of traffic fatalities in Nevada were speeding and impairment. As always, we like to share a story to make it a little bit more real. We talk about safety, we talk about these numbers. But over the Memorial Day weekend, the morning of Saturday, May 29th, a driver in a gray Chevy pickup was traveling southbound in the northbound lanes the wrong way on US 95 south of Rancho Drive in Las Vegas. At the same time, a white Toyota pickup was traveling northbound directly in front of the Chevrolet, and the Chevrolet hit the front of the Toyota, causing the Chevy to roll into a black Volkswagen that was also traveling northbound. The Chevy then caught fire, and a fourth vehicle, which was traveling northbound behind the white Toyota, tried to steer out of the way, but struck the Toyota in its rear. The driver of the white Toyota pickup and the front passenger died on the scene of injuries sustained in the crash, and the driver of the gray Chevrolet pickup was transported to UMC in serious condition and was placed under arrest for 2 counts of driving under the influence resulting in death and 1 count of driving the wrong way. So as we approach the upcoming 4th of July weekend, this tragic impairment-related crash is a reminder to never drive impaired. We've shared with the board the news of our 515 viaduct project, and I'd like to provide an update. As a reminder, this is a $40 million rehabilitation of the 50-year-old Interstate 515 viaduct between I-15 and the Eastern Avenue in downtown Las Vegas. This structure is a vital structure for us. It actually represents 10% of our bridge deck area throughout the entire state. So while we are still looking at the downtown access project in the future, it's important for us to keep the structure up to sufficient condition so that we can keep traffic flowing through the 515 here in Las Vegas. The refurbishment of the viaduct will be bridge deck repairs, including a pavement overlay plus a hinge replacement, as well as seismic retrofits. Since the bridges were constructed, the standards have increased, so we're bringing those bridges up to the standard. We anticipate construction to be complete by mid-2022. We've had multiple public involvement meetings to share with the board the last few months, and today we have another one. Beginning later this month, NDOT will be holding a virtual public information meeting on the I-15 Speedway Boulevard to Garnett interchange. The virtual meeting will last from June 24th to July 8th, 2021, and will be available at i-15north.com. During that time, the public can review planned improvements, including the widening of the I-15 by adding 1 through lane in each direction for nearly 11 miles between Speedway and Garnett, bridge widenings and repairs, truck parking at Apex, and truck parking along the I-15 between Apex and Garnett, improvements to Las Vegas Boulevard from the interchange to Clark-Peterson, in addition, landscape and aesthetic features at Speedway and the Garnett interchanges, along with some drainage improvements throughout the corridor. We presently anticipate the construction will begin the first quarter of 2022 and will take approximately 450 working days. The virtual meeting will be available at i15north.com from June 24th to July 8th. So I know the RTC and many other members on this board are active on Twitter, and we wanted to invite you to follow us on our new regional Twitter account at Nevada DOT Vegas, and we will be still be posting major transportation updates to our statewide at Nevada DOT account, but our regional account will now be placed to find regional traffic updates and information. So we want to make sure that we're keeping people's attention and not flooding them with statewide information if they're interested in more regional information. So we'll hope you continue to follow us at Nevada DOT, but be sure to follow us at Nevada DOT Vegas for all the local area information. Last, as our state enters the light at the end of the tunnel, we remind the public that our offices have opened to the public and our other partners, although we continue to provide services online and by phone. We've encouraged our staff to use all digital services, email, video chats, virtual meetings to help meet the needs of our transportation program while reducing costs and travel time. I also wanted to take a moment to express our deep gratitude for our entire NDOT team, particularly our maintenance crews and our construction crews, for their tireless efforts to make our roadways safe and more connected. They continue to work throughout the entire pandemic. In addition to working through the pandemic, furloughs, well, unfortunately, were necessary to address budgetary issues. They resulted in lost work, cuts in pay, and they've had a significant impact on not just our program, but our people. Our crews, many of which were short-staffed before the pandemic, rose to the occasion working to cover shifts for one another these last few months, which sometimes required them to work longer hours or hire temporary employees. Crews pride themselves on responding quickly to incidents or removing debris from the road, and the combination of COVID-related absences and furloughs sometimes made work challenging. Despite all this, our team got it done, and we appreciate all that they've done in the service to the state of Nevada. And that concludes the NDOT report.
Many thanks to your team. Commissioners, any comments or questions? I do have one question or some feedback. You know, it's disturbing to see the numbers going up to, what, a 30% increase in road accidents and deaths. And I wonder if maybe there's an opportunity for your organization to work maybe with the cities and the county to work with our PIOs to push out information before the holiday weekend, that maybe we could all do something to elevate awareness to ensure that people are safer on the roadways.
I think we'd be more than happy to partner with that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Or MJ, can we move on to the next item?
Yes, Chairman. The next item is to approve your consent agenda, which consists of items 5 through 55 and can be taken in one motion.
Thank you. Commissioner, did you want to pull an item?
Madam Chair, I'd like to have item number 35 pulled off consent and heard separately.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to pull an item? Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda holding 35 to be heard?
Motion to approve the consent agenda with number 35 being taken separately.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. MJ? So 35 will be the next.
I'm not sure what, so I
Well,
guess,
so we'll hear 35.
Got it.
We
So, all right,
approve
so-
the consent
okay,
agenda,
got
and
it.
then we'll hear item number
all right,
35.
so we'll be hearing consent item 35. One sec. And 35 is to adopt the fuel tax and sales tax capital improvements programs for fiscal years 2022 through 2031.
And David, will you be presenting? Thank you.
Yes, this is our annual update of our capital improvement program. As you know, anytime we make an amendment, we bring those items before the board. But this is our annual capital improvement update through 2031. It represents about $2.2 billion in projects that represent all the local jurisdictions.
And the various projects are in the backup material?
Yes, the full listing of the projects is in the agenda backup.
Commissioner, did you have some questions?
I did. I have a couple of comments that I've already expressed to the staff. So in 2001, the RTC brought together community leaders to address issues that they had with traffic, gridlock, air quality. And the result of those community meetings was the 2002 ballot question 10, in which Clark County residents were asked whether they would support increasing the motor vehicle fuel tax. The RTC pitched the ballot question as an opportunity for Clark County residents to fund improvements in our community for the benefit of our Clark County residents. Our tourists are definitely critical to our economy, but Q10 fuel tax revenue was never intended to fund projects that primarily benefit tourists on the Strip. And I wanted to praise my colleagues from the other jurisdictions for focusing their Q10 CIP projects on improving their communities as these dollars were intended. That includes trail crossings, that includes complete streets improvements. Clark County has proposed to use $49 million, which is half of their $98 million in CIP for 2 bridges that are on the Strip. These are important bridges, certainly, for our tourists who are here, but they can and should be funded by room tax revenues or other sources. I've raised these concerns with Mr. Cedarberg, and he's indicated that we need to use these right now because of a drop in room tax revenue expectations as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. But all of our constituents, particularly my constituents, deserve the benefit of the fuel taxes that they voted for and that they pay every day. And so I'm going to reluctantly move approval of agenda item number 35 with the understanding that Clark County, my jurisdiction, will reprioritize its CIP projects to benefit the community prior to the FY22 CIP project list, with the 2 Strip projects being paid for with room tax revenue or other revenue sources.
So that's your motion? We have a motion on the floor. Any other
Madam
comments?
Chair, could I just clarify? So even though it's in this budget, you're saying we can supplement it or substitute down the road, so we'll be using the room tax revenues for these bridges?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner, that's correct. And it's typical that as we see changes in revenues and expenditures as projects are closed out and maybe they come in under budget, that money goes back in the pot and then it's available for other projects to be programmed. So that may allow for the project funding to be changed at the county's discretion.
Yes.
And Commissioner Jones, Dennis indicated he would be willing to work with that, or I can work with you to make sure that happens. All right, thank you.
Mayor?
I'd just like to add, anytime we're dealing with fuel revenue tax, that we keep in mind in every conversation, we have to do something about the battery operated. Their fair share of taking care of the roads. As we increase battery operated vehicular movement, I see this, and this is a 10-year effort here. Where are we going to be in a year with this? And I think it's mandatory anytime we address fuel revenue that there's an asterisk or a caveat that says, and the battery operated. So, thank you.
Yes.
Madam Chair, so next month we'll bring back to this board, we'll go over the CIP in detail. We'll invite the Public Works folks to also attend in the event you have questions. And again, this is a program that is amended almost on a monthly basis, so we can react to your directions. So we'll bring that back again next month in more detail, David and his team.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Maynard.
Thank you, Chairman. Your next item, item 56, is to receive a presentation on the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition activities, discuss those that can be transferred to the RTC. And Andrew Kelman, our Director of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, will present to you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, MJ. Andrew Kelman, Director of the MPO, for the record. In 2015, after formal adoption of the Southern Nevada Strong Regional Plan, the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition named the RTC as the core administrator of the regional plan. Since then, the RTC created a regional planning team to fulfill this role, which has staff dedicated to continually providing support to local jurisdictions as they implement the regional plan, in addition to maintaining public awareness of the plan and its overall goals. 2 years ago, the regional planning team was organized under the MPO. This means that there is one combined work program with core administrator tasks now integrated with the MPO's primary transportation planning function. Earlier this year, the RTC chair and vice chair requested RTC staff to determine which activities of the SNRPC could potentially transfer over to the RTC. RTC identified tasks that are consistent with the existing SNS core administration activities. 2 weeks ago, the SNRPC board discussed these activities that could potentially be transferred to the RTC. These include 3 things: contract management to conduct the annual population estimates, contract management for the Regional Open Space and Trails Working Group, and finally, performing conformity review to align local plans with the regional plan. So this item is in front of you for discussion and to provide direction to RTC staff.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this? Commissioner, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Kelman, and congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
So I just wanted to let the board know, and a few of us are on the SNRPC board. We did have this discussion at our board meeting a few weeks ago, and the SNRPC board was definitely open to working with the RTC on an interlocal agreement with transfer of the 3 functions that have been identified by the MPO. And so if there's not further discussion, then
Well, just one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So next steps might be that the RTC would go to each of the municipalities and to the county and have a conversation and perhaps look to craft an MOU?
Correct. Okay. Yes. So the direction today would be to direct the staff to have a continuing conversations about what that MOU or interlocal will look like.
Wonderful. This isn't an action item, so if everyone's comfortable, we'll go ahead and move on to the
Okay,
next
thank you,
item.
and we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. The next item 57 is to receive a presentation on and approve the proposed summer 2021 transit service changes. Francis Julian, our Deputy CEO, will now present to you.
Thank you, MJ. Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners. Francis Julian for the record. We've briefed you on the service change and did a lot of outreach. This morning, we're going to share the small adjustments that were made and some of the comments. So first of all these changes would have not been possible with the federal aid that we received, the $303 million that we received. And once again, just to clarify, all these changes are following our onboard plan, so our long-term vision for transit. So all the expansions that we're doing, the route modifications, came from over 30,000 comments when we did the onboard project. And all of what we did is centered around connectivity, access, and equity. We're going to give 185,000 residents opportunities to go to school, to work, and to recreation area. So we're really, really excited about it. The service change were also built around 4 pillars, so access, efficiency, innovation, and equity. For the access portion, we're introducing brand new routes, so some in the southwest and some in the northern part of the valley. As I mentioned, 185,000 people total will be impacted. Efficiencies, we're testing a brand new project. It's called a microtransit pilot, where we'll actually commingle paratransit customers and fixed route customers to really give better first mile, last mile access. Innovation, we're starting our first, what we call our first transit lab on Charleston Avenue, where we're actually predicting to increase the speed of that bus line by 25% and increasing the frequency by 50%. So in the core of Charleston, our passengers will now see a bus each 10 minutes at the major stops, which is quite impressive. And obviously equity, we're bringing back some of the routes with weekend service to some of the neighborhoods that really needed that service. So I went through this, I'll go through this quickly because I've mentioned some of those staff, but 185,000 residents will be served. I mean, this is really an impressive number. 21,000 who currently are living at poverty level, 18,000 senior citizens, 13,000 residents with disability, 380 eligible paratransit customer will now be brought back in the service area. We're connecting to 23,000 employment opportunity. This is actually, we know this is a number that's understated with all the new business opportunities we have in West Henderson and North Las Vegas in particular that we'll be serving. 43 new childcare and schools, and really importantly, 6 grocery stores. We definitely had some food deserts in those areas, so we're going to give opportunities to have access to the food sources. Total cost for the service change is $6.9 million, and this will bring back our service level to approximately 97% of pre-COVID levels. Really to go quickly in what we're doing for the change, so let's start with the south. So the new 221, the Cactus Horizon Ridge line that goes from the southwest all the way to Boulder City. You see expansions of multiple route, Decatur, Rainbow, Fort Apache, Durango, and Jones that are going into the southwest. We're modifying the 122 now to service the M Casino and go on Raiders Way to service all the factories or the warehouses that are out there. And as you can see in that shaded area, this is the microtransit zone where we'll have an on-demand service. So you'll almost, for fixed route customers, you'll have a pickup really close to your doorstep. For paratransit customers, it's going to be a door-to-door service, allowing for first and last mile to go take transit afterwards. Now, if we move to the north part of the city, the new Ann Tropical Road that expands from Sky Canyon all the way to the racetrack, the extension of the Decatur route to service the DMV, and that goes all the way to Grand Teton. There's really a lot of new apartment complexes in that area, so really good thing. And the expansion of the CX, the Centennial Express line in Sky Canyon as well. Now, if we move our attention to the core, the purple line is the Charleston project that I've depicted earlier, and the blue lines are the lines where we're increasing frequency, notably the Alta Stewart, Vegas Owen routes, which will see their weekend service restored, the Lake Mead route, the Spring Mountain, and Simmons route that will see improvement in their frequencies as well. So this is the end of our public comment period. First of all, I would really like to thank Angela Castro and her team, as well as the transit team for all the outreach that they've done, and thank the planning team who've put together really in a fast manner all those changes. Those teams actually were able to do 94 in-person events in 45 days. Over 7,000 surveys and over 2,000 comments were given. Overall, the feedback that we received really pointed to better access to employment, shopping, and really shortening the commute times that our residents will have. And as usual, when we're doing those comments, we're hearing the community. So we actually made 2 changes. So in the northwest part of town and in the southwest, following some of the comments, we're actually modifying the start and end of certain routes to make sure that we're matching our service with the shifts of certain companies, so that we're giving access to job opportunities. And so now that the 45-day public comments, we're seeking approval for the service change. If you approve the service change, they will be in effect on August 8th. And that's the end of my presentation. If you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Mayor.
Thank you. Great. I mean, this is so exciting.
It
And of
really
course,
is.
we've been hearing for a long time about get us back to 2011, so it's great. A couple of things, operation and maintenance, always, how do you sustain that? Where are we going to get the funds to sustain this in the long run? I mean, obviously, you're monitoring ridership, but are you increasing fees, or how are we going to be assured?
So we're not changing the fares. And once again, this is bringing us back to 97% of where we were. So our cost is not exceeding what the previous cost is, and we're just basically stretching our transit dollars. We'll still have to come before you eventually. There was a fiscal deficit, but now we're covered for a long period of time.
If I may continue, Madam Chair, how many new vehicles will this require?
So because we're at 97%, we do not need any additional vehicles to perform those services.
And if I may, one more question?
Yeah, please.
With the movement of Greyhound's central location to the
South
central
Strip.
south or
Yeah.
southeast, I guess?
Yep.
What about routing there as they come in from around the country to Greyhound to drop? Have you considered that as part of how you're going to service that personnel?
So those person, even during the pandemic, now that we've modified the service back in October, we're actually having our Deuce on the Strip service 24 hours a day. So during the night, there's a bus each 20 minutes, and during the day, we actually go up to 8 minutes frequency in the service change that we're talking. So there's really frequent service, and obviously because it's a hub, they have access to pretty much all the parts of the valley from the South Strip on residential routes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
So just to clarify, the reason that we're not in a deficit is all the federal money we're getting, right?
That's correct.
Which, so we need to give credit to our legislators and the president.
You are-
Definitely.
And,
You're
and so,
exactly right.
and haven't we projected that out, so won't have a deficit until like 2026 or 2028 or something?
Till 2027, yes.
Actually, we're covered through mid-2028.
Yes.
And you're correct, our federal delegation worked very hard on behalf of our state to bring this money here, so we were very appreciative.
Mayor?
I'd just like to say that with the expansion of that southwest route, I see that helping Boulder City quite a bit in letting our residents find opportunities in the area of southwest that's grown so much recently. So appreciate that very much on that planning.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make a couple points. First off, I want to praise our lobby team for getting the microtransit bill through. That was definitely critical to being able to expand and modernize our entire system. So congratulations on that. That was very exciting. Well done to the team for all the comments. I know they spent a lot of time out in the Southwest Valley really interacting with folks to make sure that we got the routes right. And thank you for modifications that came out of those comments. Just really excited about this for service in the Southwest, but I also I know you highlighted some of the immediate effects that it'll have on those in the expanded service areas, but I just wanted to note one other important part of this whole expansion. The city and county have been having discussions for the last several months on expanding access to affordable housing. And land is a big part of trying to figure out where we can site that. And I was speaking to one of our nonprofit partners that does a lot of the work in building affordable housing, and they commented that they are having struggles identifying the right parcels because there is no access to transit. And was not aware when she told me that the service expansion was coming, and when I told her that was coming, she was overjoyed. It really gives us a great opportunity for identifying parcels in some of these new areas for affordable housing and not concentrating folks who need affordable housing in certain parts of the valley.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, I think I've expressed it before, but everything else that the colleagues said, same thing. But definitely connecting employees to future work in the Northeast, especially in the industrial area that's beginning to bloom. Very good. I'm very happy, and it's very wise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd also like to compliment the team at RTC, because your public outreach work is, I think you've really mastered this and really are an example to the community about how to get the message out and how to talk to the community and find out what their priorities are, and that's so important. And of course, the fact that these expansions into these service areas really are for the folks who have the greatest need and who we can assist with a little bit of service, whether it's to get them to work or to get them to be able to access resources in the community. And having areas like the Southwest or the West Henderson area that have needed service for a very long time, to see those services come is wonderful. So thank you very much.
I concur, great team, and Andrew's team did a tremendous job. They have set the bar pretty high, so good job.
So we need a motion to approve the report or presentation.
I will enthusiastically move for the proposed service changes.
Wonderful. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And I better not, no. Anyone opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. This is exciting.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And your next item 58 is to receive a recommendation from the Evaluation Committee to select and award a contract for the Maryland Parkway BRT project. And our Deputy CEO, David Swallow, will present to you now.
David.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the commission. This item is related to the construction manager at risk, contract number 20-031, construction manager at risk for the Maryland Parkway BRT project for pre-construction services in a not to exceed amount of $1,095,000. And this, we did a solicitation, and we're going to go through just high-level overview of where this fits into the overall project. I'm going to ask our Director of Engineering for Capital Projects, Bridge Galati, to come up and speak. Oh, look how fast he is.
He's on top of this.
When we talk about bus rapid transit, it's not just the buses that are rapid. Okay, so, yeah. So
Bridge.
with that, Bridge, please.
Thanks, David. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Bridge Galati. I'm the Director of Capital Projects, here to present the results of the Maryland Parkway Bus Rapid Transit Construction Manager at Risk request for proposals. Just real quick for overview, we began design on this project last October in 2020. We also expect to begin CMAR, or Construction Manager at Risk, pre-construction services next month, starting July 2021. We hope and expect to complete design and CMAR activities by the end of next year, November 2022. We'll bring back the construction price proposal to you for approval, and if that's approved, we will begin construction in January of 2023, which will go for 2 years till the end of 2024. RTC issued a request for proposal on February 17th, 2021. 3 proposals were received from Kiewit, Infrastructure West, Las Vegas Paving Corporation, and William Charles Inc. The top 2 ranked proposals or proposers were carried to the next phase of the process, which is the interviews, and the interviews were held May 11th of this year. I'd like to note that the evaluation panel members represented RTC, the City of Las Vegas, and Clark County. The selection criteria you see on the screen, there are 6 of them, were used to score the interviews. I'd also like to note that 5 of those criteria attributed to 85% of the scoring, and the price proposal was worth 15%. Final scores and rankings were calculated based on the scores for the 2 top ranking companies, Kiewit and Las Vegas Paving. You can see 239 points were attributed to Kiewit for the interview, and 215 to Las Vegas Paving. Price proposal contributed to 45 points for Kiewit and 33 points for Las Vegas Paving. The scores were combined for the interview and the price proposals to get total of 284 points for Kiewit and 248 points for Las Vegas Paving. Consequently, the ranks was number 1 for Kiewit and 2 for Las Vegas Paving. The staff recommends approval for contract for Kiewit in this case. That's the end of my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments, commissioners? No questions or comments. Can I have a motion to receive the recommendation and authorize the chair to sign?
Madam Chair, I need to disclose that my law firm is involved in litigation with Kiewit, and at the recommendation of counsel, I'll be abstaining from this vote.
Okay, thank you.
Given that, I would move to award the contract to Kiewit.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. And one abstention. This motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Item 59 is to receive a presentation for the review of certain matters related to the July 1, 2021 increase in fuel taxes, and our Chief Financial Officer, Mark Trostel, will present to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, MJ. Madam Chair and members of the commission, we'll start out by looking at a financial update for FRI. This is a nice chart of the annual producer price index. You can see the blue line is the annual numbers, and that's kind of volatile. And then the 10-year rolling average is the yellow line, and that's what we actually base our increases on. This year, effective July 1, that 10-year rolling average is 1.32%, and we will be increasing the rate by about 0.9 cents, 0.88 cents per gallon. And so just as a side note, to look at that producer price index, January through April of 21 is at 10.2%. So quite a bit different than last year, that producer price index. Then our next slide, we see the FRI 1 rate per gallon of gas is 10 cents, and that was 10 cents from July 1 of 2016, and that remains in effect. And then the extension of FRI or FRI 2, our new rate effective July 1 of 21 will be 5.7 cents as it was 4.8 cents last year. And then we've budgeted revenue for FRI 1 at $86 million in fiscal 22 and $29 million in fiscal 22 for FRI extension or FRI 2. Then we have a brief construction update where we highlight a few projects that have been going on. In January of 2019, the city of North Las Vegas began road improvements on Revere Street, updating the road with a sawtooth infill. This project wrapped up in August of 2019 for a cost of approximately $2.9 million. Then in another part of North Las Vegas, Clark County worked with the city of North Las Vegas on an $8.9 million Pecos Road rehabilitation project and an Owens Avenue to Alexander Road rehabilitation project. The project began in March of 2020 and was completed in November of 2020, helping connect drivers with new pavement and curbs. Then in Henderson, Foster Avenue and Price Street received much needed updates, improving the roads and sidewalks for drivers and pedestrians. The approximately $1.4 million project included newly installed wide sidewalks with new landscaping and decorative elements, decorative crosswalk markings, shade structures, and curb extensions to shorten the crosswalk distance. The project began in October of 2020 and was completed in January of 21. And lastly, we have the City of Las Vegas multimodal improvement project stretching from Fremont Street to Las Vegas Boulevard all the way to Eastern. The $18 million project included several pedestrian safety features, including narrowed pavement sections, the installation of 10-foot wide detached sidewalks with new landscaping, directional sidewalk ramps, and curb extensions at intersections. The project also included several beautification features, including newly upgraded LED streetlights, large shade trees, and decorative benches and garbage bins. The project began in October of 2019 and was completed in August of 2020. And those are my prepared remarks. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Trosdal. It's nice to see all these upgrades and that the money is actually being put to use in a meaningful way. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner?
I just wanted to comment on the Henderson. Looked like you had a beautiful sidewalk there with some inlays. Maybe we could look at that in Clark County.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Again, those improvements in North Vegas are really, really needed, especially looking there right in front of the little school. It's actually in county, but a lot of the children that go there are actually living in North Las Vegas. They're in front of Von Tobel Middle School. So again, it's a little bit painful there for a little while, but pain now, gain later. Thanks so much.
You know, and just to maybe reiterate again too, is that our residents lead regional lives, so the improvements that are made in one part of the community benefit all of our residents. And thank you, Carolyn. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. There are no legal items to discuss this month, so we can move on from agenda item 60 to your final. Agenda item 61, to conduct your last citizens participation period.
Thank you. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak to the board, now is your opportunity. Please come forward to the microphone to provide your comments and state your name for the record. Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public comment period, and this meeting is adjourned.